One more video in our addition strategy series. This one focuses on those higher level addition strategies. Welcome back to Mathy Goodness. Today we're going to be looking at those higher level addition strategies. These are most appropriate for students in 2nd and 3rd grade and beyond. In our last video, we looked carefully at make 10 facts and really laid the groundwork for give and take. All that means is as I take from one addend, I need to give to the other addend for the sum to stay the same. Here's an example.
Here's a simple example just to get us started. If I have 5 plus 9, I really want a 10. 10 is so easy. I need to give that one more in order to make that 9 into a 10. Where on earth am I going to get that one more? Well, I'm going to take it from my 5 so that now I have 4 and 10. You will find that 4 and 10 is 14, just like 5 and 9 is 14. That's give and take.
This is a great strategy to use in combination with rounding. When we round in the classroom, I talk about friendly numbers. This helps students key in on what values they would use for rounding and why they would use them. They focus in on numbers that are easy to work with. We can use that with our give and take strategy here. Let's take a look. Let's say that I'm trying to add 296 plus 45. Now, we could certainly use our traditional algorithm that you and I were taught. That's where our carry the 1 comes in. By the way, could we please call that carrying a 10? Not carrying a 1. It's very confusing to kids when they understand place value, but not that you mean one bundle of 10. Okay, so back to my problem, 296 plus 45. If I want to use my give and take strategy, I know 296 is super close to 300. If I could just give it 4 more, it would be there. Where could I get those 4 more? Well, 45 has to join with 296 in this problem, so I can just take a few out of 45 to make it 41. Now my problem is much more simple. This strategy really drives home the flexible thinking we want in our students, and it's also much more efficient most of the time than the traditional algorithm that you and I were taught with carrying the 1. One more strategy for adding larger numbers that I do want to go over is called partial sums. You will see this a lot in Common Core math programs all across the country. So here's what it looks like.
For partial sums, all we're going to do is break apart numbers by their place value when we add them. So we'll start here with 215 plus 143. I'm going to add my ones place first. 5 and 3 makes 8. Then I'll add my tens place. 10 and 40 makes 50. And notice that we are using those values. Instead of calling that a 1, I made it a 10. Same thing with our hundreds place. We're going to call it 200, not just a 2. And 100. So that when we add them together, those values are not lost in our understanding. Now we can take all of those pieces, those parts, and add them together to get our sum. This is great for laying the groundwork before we get to that algorithm where we're carrying tens over and where we're writing numbers vertically.
Now I know this seems basic to you and I, but this is a crucial step before we teach students that standard algorithm. If they don't understand combining numbers by place value and adding ones to ones, tens to tens, hundreds to hundreds, then all of that algorithm where you carry the 1 means nothing.
All right, so let's take a look at partial sums on an open number line. I'm going to start with 442, and then I'm going to add my 168. I can choose to add those pieces in any order as long as I have a value of 168. Here, I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to start with my ones, and I'm going to add 8 because I know that 442 plus 8 more is just going to be 450, a really nice number, using my make 10 combo right there of 8 and 2. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a jump, I think of 50. Now, I know that I need to eventually make 60. However, 50 was so friendly to go from 450 to 500, it seemed like a natural stop along the way. And then I know I need 10 more in order to get to 60. So that would put my sum at 510 right now. The only piece I haven't dealt with yet is the hundreds. So now let's take a hop of 100. And you can see that my jumps are estimates. They're not exact. I'm not counting tick marks on there. That's why it's an open number line. When I add 100, just my hundreds place changes so that my sum becomes 610.
If your child is struggling with that standard algorithm that you're teaching them at home, this is a great way to start.
This time we're going to do some regrouping. So I have 34 plus 28. Previously, I wrote those numbers horizontally. I'm going to show you a vertical way of writing it that might help bridge the gap between your child's understanding and the algorithm that you love so dearly. So here I've got 30 and 4, 20 and 8. That gives me two separate problems that I can solve. 8 plus 4 is 12, and 30 plus 20 is 50. And I can just add those together to get 62. Now, let's take a look at how we could bridge partial sums like this into our traditional algorithm. This time, I'm going to just clear away part of it so we can take another look. 8 plus 4 is 12, and I know that 12 is a 10 and a 2. So I'll place my 2, and then I'm going to put my 10 over here with its friends in the tens place. Now when I add those together, I get 60. A lot of times, just seeing these place values help children understand why we're carrying a 1 over. And that makes all the difference. It's not carrying a 1, it's carrying a whole group of 10 and putting it where it belongs in the tens place.
Hope you found this helpful, and please leave me comments about what you would like to see next in our series of videos. Bye, guys.